Santa is not the nice guy the stories will have you believe. Cannibalism, slave labor, adultery, animal abuse, abduction, worshipping the occult, racism, and a tool of Satan. He's a convicted criminal with a good PR team. The world would be better off without him. So thank you for joining me today as we go through the top 10 reasons why Santa is on the naughty list. Despite everything I've just said, I don't hate Christmas. There's nothing more exciting for a little British kid waking up on Christmas morning, seeing the stocking at the end of the bed is magically full, having a home-cooked Christmas meal, opening presents together, drinking too much, and running into your parents' bedroom screaming, "The stocking is full, Santa was here." These are all fond core memories for any Brit. Setting sights on Santa's shining smile was part of that experience. For anyone who doesn't know who Santa is the icon of modern Christmas. Him and his elves work tirelessly all year round to make sure when it comes to December 24th, Santa's sack is full. Dope. Setting out on his sleigh on Christmas Eve, guided through the sky by his magical flying reindeer, led at the front by Rudolph's shiny nose. He descends down the chimney of all the sleeping boys and girls and silently leaves a present for them. By the morning of December 25th, he retires to his home in the North Pole or Lapland with a job well done, and rests until he does it all again next year. What a beautiful, heartwarming thing to happen. Wrong! Santa is a cunt. And I'm going to give you the top 10 reasons why Santa is on the naughty list. Ho, ho, ho! Starting at number 10. He's a convict. He's been behind more bars than Eminem. Yep, that's right. Just like 1 in every 100 Americans, Father Christmas has spent time in jail. Twice. I'm talking about St. Nicholas, the man we all know the Jolly Red gift giver is based on. Before he was sainted, Nicholas was a Greek bishop in Myra, what we now call Turkey, which I guess is fitting for Christmas. At the time, the Roman Emperor Diocletian, he liked to persecute Christians, so Nicholas ended up in jail. I don't really blame him for this one, as he didn't really do anything wrong. But nevertheless, he had to spend 5 years in solitary confinement. Sometime after this, Nicholas became a bishop again under the first Christian emperor. But one day, after having an intense theological argument with another bishop, Nicholas stormed across the room and bashed the bishop. He slapped the bishop right in the chops. For this, Nicholas was stripped, chained, and thrown in jail. And rightly so. Ho, ho, ho! Next up we have, he's a drink driver. It's not just milk and cookies kids leave out for Santa. Countries across the world have various gifts that they leave out for the big man. In Britain and Australia, he usually gets beer or sherry and mince pies. In Ireland, I'm sorry, I feel racist for saying this, but in Ireland, they leave Guinness for Santa. It's true, according to Wikipedia. But I'm sure people leave out all sorts of alcohol for Santa. Whiskey, rum, whatever Santa wants that night. There's drink driving, and then there's drink driving. I am a nerd, so let's look at the science. According to the Washington Post and the Independent, it seems that Santa visits between 330 million to 390 million households on Christmas Eve. I found a great blog online by the Modern Milkman, which shows the perfect Christmas plate to leave out for Santa. I'll leave a link in the description below. Please do go check it out. It's a good read. I won't spoil the results, but someone called the Modern Milkman might have a vested interest. He surveyed UK citizens and he found that 36.4% of people left alcohol for Santa in their Christmas Eve plate. So if we take 330 million households, the lowest estimate, and apply that 36.4%, that means on Christmas Eve, Santa is behind the wheel or the stirrups or the whip or whatever it is on the sleigh, after consuming 120,120,000 alcoholic beverages. Now, on that list, we had wine, whiskey, beer, brandy, and totaling it all together, using the percentages from the Modern Milkman's survey, that would mean that Santa has had 520... Hello there. Well, it turns out after calling myself a nerd, I got all the figures wrong. It's now January 27th, and I'm about to post my Christmas 2024 video. So I'm in the studio getting it redone just in time for Christmas 2025. That would mean that Santa has had 14,527... Fucking got it wrong again. That's 14,520,000 glasses of wine, 31,680,000 glasses of whiskey, 34,320,000 cans or glasses of beer, and 39,600,000 glasses of brandy. I like a beer, but I don't think I could stand after all that, let alone drive. I'm gonna get more nerdy. In the UK, the legal driving limit is 80 milligrams per 100 milliliters of blood. On the blood alcohol content back scale that they use, it's 0.08. Now, according to NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, Santa is a hefty man weighing 260 pounds. And according to this chart from the University of South Carolina, a man of 260 pounds would reach 0.085 on the back scale after 7 drinks. Only 12,011,993 less than Santa, so don't challenge Santa to a drink-off. The way that this rate works, we should take off 0.015 after every drink or hour that occurs, but Santa drinks so much so fast, I don't think he has a recovery time. So at this rate, at the end of the night, Santa's blood alcohol level would be 1,458,600 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood, which is 1,823,250 times over the legal limit. I think he's the drunkest driver in all of history, and he deserves another stint in jail. Ho, ho, ho! Our number 8 reason that Santa is on the naughty list is he's a thief. Many of Santa's gimmicks are stolen from other cultures, but for me, one of the worst ones is what he stole from the Germanic people. Odin is a Norse god, and during the winter solstice, or the Yule as they call it, Odin would lead what they call the wild hunt. Children would leave food out for the Norse god's horse, Sleipnir, who in return would leave them candy. Now, the Christians couldn't have that, couldn't have the pagan scum celebrating and worshipping their false gods. No. So they assigned the winter solstice to Saint Nicholas and called it Christmas, in an attempt to convert the heathens. But that's not the only thing Santa stole from Odin. Sleipnir, Odin's powerful 8-legged flying warhorse, well, guess what Santa had not long after? A flying horse. Then in 1822, a poem inspired by Odin's warhorse who would fly through the sky and deliver treats to children changed those 8 legs into 8 reindeer. Ring any bells? Well, that's the poem we know as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Okay, on to number 7. Ho, ho, ho! He's a capitalist sellout whore. Before 1931, Santa used to wear any color he wanted. Blue, red, white, brown, burgundy, it didn't matter, whatever he wanted. That was until he became a brand ambassador for Coca-Cola. They launched huge ad campaigns associating the big man and the colors of red and white with their own branding of red. The red color of Coca-Cola became so ingrained in people's brains, thanks to the Freudian conscious and subconscious marketing, that it forever locked in that red and white Father Christmas fashion. But it wasn't just Coca-Cola he sold out to. His face has been used for everything and anything he can associate with. Cigarettes, alcohol, computers, electronics, cars, you name it, Santa's face has been on it. He's the biggest marketing tool in the world. Visits 330 million kids every year, gets gifts in their house. It's easy money for Santa. I wouldn't be surprised if Santa is commissioned or sponsored by many luxury brands, working his elves hard all year to get that Gucci belt or the latest Apple product under that kid's tree. Other inflated value brands and false luxury for the masses are available. Oh, that's good. I prefer Pepsi. Ho, ho, ho! Next up, we have Santa's general attitude. Not only does Santa force parents to lie to their kids, he also teaches kids that it's good to be selfish. Teaching kids that you should only be nice if you're getting something in return. That's not very Christmassy. Santa is also quite unfair. Santa prefers rich people. He gives more expensive presents to the rich and cheaper presents to the poor. In fact, it's easier to be nice when your life is secure and full of luxury. Surely someone who was born into poverty and has managed to resist all the devilish temptations to steal and commit crime to actually improve their desperate situation deserves a better present than someone whose dad pays for them to get a limo to school. Yes, and I know you could say it's also unfair on the rich kid that they would get less just because their parents are better off. I have nothing against rich kids, we deal the hand we're dealt. But they definitely have advantages over the poor kids. I'm not calling for a communist Santa either who just gives disappointed presents to everyone. But wouldn't it be better to at least try and even the playing field a little bit when you've got all that power that Santa has, and you can make any gift in the whole world. Another problem with his attitude is his work ethic. Yeah, he works a long shift on Christmas Eve, but the rest of the year he doesn't do anything. He only works 1 day a year. Ho, ho, ho! Number 5 kind of ties in with his attitude, but he's ignorant. He's ignorant, not inclusive, and potentially racist. The only prerequisite that I know of to get a gift from Santa is to be on the nice list. But it seems that between the naughty and nice list, there is a purgatory list. A list for kids that just don't exist in the eyes of Santa. He ignores most of the world. There are 2.2 billion households on Earth, and Santa only visits 300 and something million of them. He doesn't give gifts to the Jews, the Muslims, so many Asians, tribes living in Africa and the Amazon and around the world. The list goes on. That's not very inclusive, is it? There's a website that tracks Santa's movement across the world on Christmas Eve, and he flies over Israel. He flies over Mecca. He flies over the Amazon rainforest. So why doesn't he give them presents? His ignorance is also politically inclined. During the American Civil War, he was popping up in all sorts of propaganda by Thomas Nast, commissioned by Not-So-Honest Abe to show that Santa sided with the North, the Union, turning his back on Confederate kids, being at war and inflation and having a lack of materials. Many mothers in the South had to explain to their children why Santa didn't come this year. Don't. While those same kids look at Honest Abe's propaganda and see that Santa loves little kids in the North. Don't. Santa was so effective at discouraging Confederate kids and showing support for the Union children that Abe Lincoln once said that Father Christmas was the best recruiting sergeant the North had ever had. Ho, ho, ho! And just like Santa's elves, the next point is short and sweet. Santa uses slave labor. There's no recollection of Santa's elves ever getting paid or any kind of compensation as they work hard all year round to make the toys for Santa deliver and take credit for. There must be smelting elves, injection molding elves, assembly line elves, warehouse elves, resource management elves, watchmaker elves, electrician elves, IT elves, elf mechanics, elf engineers, elf accountants. All this and more goes into the logistics of running a product making organization, and they never even get paid for it. I doubt they even have a trade union. Ho, ho, ho! It's not just elves that Santa exploits, he also takes advantage of animals. Peter posted this image with the message, "Reindeer shouldn't be anyone's ride, not even Santa's. Animals are not ours to use in any way. Reindeer deserve to live peacefully in their natural habitat, free from human interference." And remember that 8-legged warhorse that belonged to Odin? What happened to him? He was replaced by the reindeer, and if you've ever seen the Grand National, then you know what happens to a horse that is of no use to anyone. Oh, and also, those reindeer he flies, there's a good chance they're also drugged. According to the old legend of the Sami people of Lapland, they would feed the reindeer the locally grown poisonous mushroom, and after it digested in their stomach, they would consume the reindeer's urine. It's believed that drinking this pee was an hallucinogenic, and they would leave their bodies and fly through the sky. And at the end of it, when they returned to their bodies, they would go through the chimneys of the cottages. Sound familiar? You could argue that elf lives matter more than reindeer lives, or you might think that all Christmas lives matter. But one thing is for sure, jolly old Saint Nick exploits them all for his own gain. Ho, ho, ho! Coming down the chimney at number 2 is the company Santa keeps. Santa's friends are cunts. One of the more famous associates of Santa is his evil twin, Krampus. The common consensus on Krampus is that he is a hairy, brown, or black creature with 1 foot of hooves and horns of a goat. Sharp fangs inside his mouth with a long pointed tongue that slithers around the air. He carries chains to symbolize the devil and thrashes them around to strike fear in anyone who hears them. Sometimes even accompanied with bells. Sound familiar again? As well as the chains, he carries birch branches, or in some cases also a whip, to scare those children into being good. On Christmas Eve, Krampus carries a big sack or a basket strapped to his back so he can later drown them, eat them, or drag them to hell. This particular quality is something he also shares with another of Santa's associates, Svart Piet. Svart Piet is a divisive character, not just for his abduction of children, but also his appearance. He is traditionally depicted wearing traditional Renaissance attire, with blackface, curly wigs, and a bright red lipstick. I don't need to explain why 3 of those 4 things might upset people. Jolly old Nick definitely has a type. There are records of many other kinds of demons and people who work with Saint Nick and accompany him on his journeys and scare kids into being good. As well as Krampus and Svartpiet, we have Schmutzli, Perchta, Necht Ruprecht, Rubels, Hanstrap, Perfotard, Little Babushka, Pelzebok, Klaubauf, Belsnickel, and I'm sure there's more. All these little friends act as foils for Santa. You can be good and get candy and treats and gifts for your benevolence. Or, if you're a little shit, we'll whip you in a bag and throw you into the pits of hell. Santa is a loan shark, and his demon friends are the thugs that come round and beat you up if you don't give Santa what he wants. Santa appears innocent, but he gets his hellbound buddies to do the dirty work. One of those goons has a particularly dark origin story. Père Fouettard, or Father Whipper in English. He travels with Father Christmas and gives lumps of coal or beatings to the naughty kids, sometimes with a whip, standard. The popular belief is that he was a butcher, and he saw 3 rich kids going past one day on their way to their private Catholic school. The butcher was having none of it. He drugged them, slit their throat, chopped them into pieces, and threw them in a stew. Classic butcher. Mwah. Saint Nicholas, upon discovering this, resurrects the 3 boys. That's good. Then he forces Father Whipper to be his companion and whip and beat the naughty kids upon their travels. Not good. Before we get to the number 1 reason why Santa is definitely on the naughty list, I want to give an honorable mention to the fact that he is an adulterer. He's a home wrecker. These kids wake up and they think they can hear Santa's bell. The kids creep downstairs all excited to see Santa. And what do they see? Their mother sitting on Father Christmas' lap, tongue deep in his face, tickling under his beard nonetheless. Disgusting behavior. Ho, ho, ho! And now we get to number 1. And considering the true meaning of Christmas for many people, it's a biggie. At top spot, we have the very plausible idea that Santa is the devil. Big claim, I know, but if he's not the devil, at the very least he's a demon who wants to replace God. I found a great article called The Truth About Santa, written by a Christian philosopher called J. Forrest. I'm not really religious, so a lot of this Bible stuff goes way over my head. But as a lot of this is from the mind of a Christian philosopher, I think he knows his stuff. I'll do my best to explain this in a way that satisfies people who actually understand and have read the Bible, and also for people who have no idea like myself. And I promise, I'm not preaching. But if you consider the history and meaning of modern day Christmas, being the devil is pretty bad. So listen carefully as I prove that the jolly fat man that you love is actually evil incarnate. Santa's origin is believed to be from the pagan god Thor, and in the eyes of a Christian, he's a false idol. And what Gentiles, believers, sacrifice to false idols, the Bible says they sacrifice to demons. So, Thor is a demon. The Dutch took the attributes of said demon and combined them with the attributes of Saint Nicholas, and there was the birth of Santa Claus. Why would a demon take the name of a saint unless he wanted to transform himself into an angel of light? Father Christmas, a demon? There's no way, I hear you say. Evil, if it appeared, would fool no one. Yet the Bible says that Satan deceives the whole world. But Santa is an innocent old man who likes to make children smile. He wouldn't possibly deceive the world. Well, let's look at some more evidence, and remember, the devil too can work in mysterious ways. Thor was the god of fire, and modern day Santa is abundant with fire imagery. He comes down the chimney, leaves presents by the fireplace, the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. And it's no coincidence that Santa's suit matches the same color as Satan himself, that fiery red dragon. How can he be Satan? Christmas is the most magical time of the year. Magic is satanic, condemned in the Bible. Saints perform miracles, demons and devil worshippers perform magic. The whole world's toys in a sleigh, flying through the air, a touch of his nose and he fits down the chimney. It's all magic. Magic is the general term for occult power, and those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. There's also hints of devilry if you look at the names of the man himself, aside from the obvious Santa, Satan, Father Christmas. Christians would argue there's only one Holy Father. Kris Kringle. Kris Kringle is German for Christ child. So he's the Father and the Son now? Who is a liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ? He is Antichrist who denies the Father and Son. Saint Nick? Well, Nicholas is an old Christian name for the devil. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Demon. If you're still not convinced that Santa is trying to betray God, there's more. Satan's greatest desire was, and possibly still is, to be like the Most High. He wants to be God, or he wants to replace God at least. So let's get even more biblical on this bitch and go through 16 different ways that Santa wants to replace God. First, Santa comes each year from the north, like God. Some scholars believe that heaven is located in the northern part of the universe. Second, Santa is immortal, like God, but he never dies. Third, Santa is eternal, like God, but he has always been. Fourth, Santa has the ability to defy the laws of nature, like God. Reindeer fly, tiny sleigh, all the toys, touch nose magic, all that kind of stuff. Fifth, Santa, like God, sees you when you're sleeping. Omnipresent, he's everywhere. Sixth, Santa, like God, knows if you have been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Omniscient, all-knowing. Seventh, Santa is a universal judge, like God. Eighth, Santa judges the deeds of all the little boys and girls and rewards them accordingly, like God. On a side note, I also think the naughty and nice list could be symbolism for heaven and hell. Ninth, Santa, like God, must have all wisdom so he can judge justly. 10. Santa, like God, is to be feared. You better watch out or no presents. 11th, like God, Santa has a book of remembrance, making a list and checking it twice. 12th, Santa, like God, is petitioned for forgiveness of wrongs. 13th, Santa, like God, can forgive little boys and girls if they promise to be better next year. 14th, Santa can be bribed like God. Santa is petitioned for gifts. 15th, Santa is to be pleased like God. And 16th, Santa's coming is watched and longed for. Don't, like the Lord himself. While God is calling us to celebrate the birth of his son, Satan is also having a celebration for the coming of Santa Claus. Jesus, take a backseat. Santa's here to steal the show. Maybe the big white beard is not a coincidence after all. So next time you're opening those wonderful gifts from Santa, have a think about the intentions behind the gifts and who you may unintentionally be worshipping. And remember, whether it's being whipped by a black-faced Santa associate or receiving a PS5 from Father Christmas, there's always something to smile about.